So we are going to do some different shading techniques when using only a pen. And for this, I'm going to be using a thin Sharpie and a thick Sharpie. You could use anything. You're going to want to use something that's thinner and black and something that's thicker. So what I did to start is I gave myself 12 different boxes. And my goal here is going to be I want to show 12 different ways of shading using a pen. And we want to show some darker areas and some lighter areas. And what we're really thinking about here is negative and positive space yet again. So I'm going to show you first the cross-hatching technique. So I'm using my skinny side of my Sharpie here. And I'm going to start by drawing some diagonal lines. So cross-hatching is when you draw lines going in one direction like this, and then you come back in and you draw some lines in another direction like that. And that gives you a sense that this area here would be a little bit darker than this area up here. But there's lots of different ways you can do different pen shading techniques. So with cross-hatching, if you put the lines really close together and you only leave a little bit of white space in between them, you're using the exact same technique, but you're getting what looks like a darker area. So when you step back for a second, it looks like this would be a lighter shaded area, and that would be a darker shaded area. And since all those lines kind of converge there, that would be dark too. All right, so that's one way of shading using a pen. My goal here is going to be I want to try a bunch of different ways. So the next one I'm going to do is different dots. This is actually called stippling, and it's when you put a bunch of little teeny dots either right next to each other. So if they are right next to each other and if some of them overlap, you're going to get what looks like a really dark area. So notice I'm doing little dots. Some of them are overlapping, kind of filling in that area. And then I'm going to fade out here with a little fewer and more spread out dots. And so the goal there is to look like it's getting from lighter to darker. So you can do some really cool shading with pen. So now I'm going to show you one last one, and then I'm going to have you try some different techniques. So last one I'm going to show you here is kind of a combination. So if you're drawing, let's say, an animal, and it has fur, you might draw lines that go all in the same direction. And when you draw lines that go all in the same direction, if you spread them out a little bit more, you'll get what looks like a lighter area. And then when you put them closer to each other, you'll get what looks like a darker area. So that would work for something like fur, feathers. That might even work for something like hair or eyebrows or things like that. So now what I'm going to have you do is try your best and see if you can come up with a bunch of different techniques, different lines, different dots, different shapes that create a shaded look. And again, remember, the goal is to have some negative space being your white paper and some positive space. In this case, it's your black marker. So you should have some that are really cool and filled in, and then maybe others that are a little bit thinner like this.